I just got to talk about Detroit Lions being contenders. And like the first time I'm saying this in terms of like contenders. And then my reservation for it always was the fact that they didn't really have that interior defensive line presence that I felt we needed for Aiden Hutchinson to flourish. But as we've seen that the past 3 games, more specifically the 2 games before this, that defensive line is getting down and dirty.
Ali McNeil looks good. He's been getting better and better every game. Obviously, having Isaiah Buggs back helps this defensive line a lot. He provides a lot in the middle, getting after the passer and doing different things like that. Kaminsky is still playing well. Josh Pascal is coming back. He should be ready to go soon. They're saying he's getting better and better, and he's almost ready to be cleared to play. So that interior defensive line is definitely helping the Detroit Lions. It's helping Aiden Hutchinson do what he does. We saw Hutch get the sack. We saw him with the nasty one-handed interception, but he can't do any of that if it isn't for the guys around him helping him, because it's not just a one-man crew on that defensive line. You need that interior pass rush. You need a secondary pass rusher to help Aiden Hutchinson so he's not getting double, triple teamed all game. And they're getting that help. They're getting those guys home. Whether it's Isaiah Buggs, Ali McNeil, Benito Jones, whoever it is in the middle of that defensive line for the Detroit Lions is making plays and getting in the backfield.
You're finally able to allow your star player to flourish. And I look back at the conversation we had with GQ just a few weeks ago, and he was like, listen, I get that Hutch has all these pressure stats, which, by the way, again, it's one of those like advanced analytic nerd stats, their definition of a pressure. But nonetheless, he gets these up there, but he's not landing the sacks. And they talk about the holdings and they talk about the double teams, and that was like the excuse for Aiden. But GQ, the perspective he put it in is, you don't think Micah Parsons is dealing with those same issues? You don't think Joey Bosa is dealing with those same issues? Mm-hmm. It's up to the defensive coordinator at that point to utilize that player ability to move along across the line, or just find ways to find him in different wrinkles where he's able to have these one-on-one matchups against like a guard that's maybe a little bit more sloppier than the tackle matchup they have that day. AG's done that. And that was my reservation again for the term contender, was like we didn't have a defensive line presence outside of Aiden Hutchinson. One that I was like, felt like he could open things up for him. We have that, at least in a team effort. And beyond that, the Cowboys looked damn good this year outside the Arizona Cardinals game. Up until last night, they got their asses whooped by the San Francisco 49ers. And the Cowboys are still a threat. Don't get that. The Cowboys defense is the real deal. The offense, not so much. But the recipe you saw on display last night, the San Francisco 49ers put on the Dallas Cowboys defense, the Detroit Lions had that same recipe.
They do.
They got that same recipe and ability to cook it up. Whether you want to get through the air, whether you want to get on the ground, get freaky with it. I mean, they literally had the exact same play called. Detroit Lions had the same recipe, making them, I think, the 3rd best team in this NFC.
I do too, and I might say second, honestly, with the way they're playing. They're playing. Obviously, we know this was against the Panthers. The Panthers are a shit team, but you go out there and you do what you did to them. That is what good teams do. You hang 42 on them. You go out there and you put your nuts on the table. And going back to the defense for a second, this is from Ben Raven. I just saw it. Shout out Ben Raven. He said, Aiden Hutchinson and Lee McNeil destruction tour continues. PFF has them both plus 90. Another 8 pressures for Hutchinson to go with the sack and int. It looks good for Anzalone and Buggs too. And that's what we needed out of Ali McNeil. That was always when, we're cooking up topics preseason, in the offseason about different things. Who needs to step up? Who do you need to see a leap from? My answer was always Ali McNeil, because we needed it out of him, and he's been giving it to us. Pause. He's been going out there. He has been making plays. He is forcing the issue in the interior defensive line, and it's awesome to see.
It's dude, again, like I said, the Detroit Lions, the ass whooping the Dallas Cowboys got last night. By the way, George Kittle with the "Fuck Dallas" shirt, hard.
That is dope.
That was hard. I'm gonna get Sam Laporta a freaking "Fuck the Bears" one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That'd be awesome to see. But we have those same ingredients. We have those same ingredients to cook up that same recipe. With the San Francisco 49ers, look at that team. You want to break it down. It's a physical team with a great offensive line and a brilliant run game. Now, obviously, you'd say they have probably the best running back in the league right now in Christian McCaffrey. The Detroit Lions don't have that, no. But they do have a mixture of that between the two, Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery. Whether we've seen that Jahmyr Gibbs or not, we have it. But, again, I have full faith that Ben Johnson's going to get it out of him at some point this season. I really do, especially after yesterday's master class. You get the tight end position for the San Francisco 49ers. Look at George Kittle, an Iowa product. What do we have? Sam Laporta, an Iowa product. And quite literally right now, the best tight end in the league. Maybe those things change, but right now I'm able to say that, and I'm going to flex it while I can. And then you go to the outside. I think they have a little little more established weapons, I should say, with like Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. But I feel like Amon-Ra can feel like Deebo Samuel role. We've seen him, run plays out of the backfield and do all the kind of same things that you see Deebo Samuel do for the San Francisco 49ers. We don't have really Ayuk. But we have a Jameson Williams who's going to establish himself in this offense. We have a Josh Reynolds established. He's already established in this offense. And then Khalif Raymond, too. We did the same recipe to beat the shit out of teams like the Dallas Cowboys. And beyond that, too, you go to the defensive side of the ball. Hey, AG crowd. People wanted to fire AG. People wanted to bench Jerry Jacobs. Speak now. But we got to, I mean, you're allowed to apologize now. We'll hold the floor open. And you could apologize for your sins.
Yeah.
As Neil Rule says. But it's truth of the matter. This defense looks the part, Spinning.
This defense is legit, and obviously we know the run defense is the best in the NFL, but they're going out there and they're making quarterbacks scared for their lives in the past couple of games. I understand, it was Jordan Love, Desmond Ridder, and Bryce Young, but still, these are good signs of what this defense can be. Cam Sutton being Cam Sutton, locking down the side of the field. Jerry Jacobs having back-to-back fantastic games out there. Obviously, my heart hurts for Emmanuel Mosley. You hate to see something like that happen, but with Jerry playing at the level he is, it's something that the Lions can recover from, something that the Lions can bypass, is not having a guy like Emmanuel Mosley for the rest of the season. Again, prayers out to him.
They've done it.
Yeah.
They've been without Emmanuel Mosley this entire season.
Yep.
The play that he got hurt, if I'm not mistaken, was his first in-game action for the Detroit Lions. Like, it does suck to lose Emmanuel Mosley because you had high expectations for him. You're 4-1, and the guy's played one snap for you. And he wasn't able to complete the entire snap because, unfortunately, he tore his ACL. Pray for the best of him, and maybe we get him on another discount next year, but we got something here. And the Detroit Lions are contenders. And then maybe tomorrow, after this Monday night game, we'll break down actual top 10 power rankings. Cause I got lost in the sauce a little bit today, man. I was trying to do it just to be prepared for tomorrow. And I'm so in high favor of the Detroit Lions right now, but I feel crazy.
They got to be a top 5 team in the NFL.
I think they might be.
They have
bro.
to be a top 5 team.
I think they might be. And I mean, I guess we'll have that, that conversation tomorrow for that segment, but I'll save it. I'll save it. But as of right now, Detroit Lions are at least for damn sure in the NFC.
Yeah, for sure. And it's exciting to watch. Like we said, they do a lot of good things and complement themselves in so many different ways with the players they have and the schemes that they run. So it's impressive to see them do that. It's impressive to see them do that at such a high level against an inferior opponent in the Carolina Panthers. Now I expect them to go out there. I expect them to do the same thing next week against the Bucs in Tampa Bay. This isn't a brand of football that doesn't travel. This brand of football travels. You play good defense, you stop the run, you run the ball. You can go anywhere and do that. You can go to anyone's house and do that. So I expect them to take it to Tampa Bay next week, and I expect them to get another W. So let's see what's going on there. But I'm just excited for this Detroit Lions team, man. They're fun to watch. They have playmakers at every position, on every level. Yeah. They have guys who are making things happen, and I haven't seen this in my entire life.
It's a context math too when you break down like them as contenders again, because you go to the NFL website and you categorize the records by league, and yeah, there's other 4-1 teams, but whatever BCS science they use to put the Detroit Lions as that third team, they are right now. And you look at the way they've been beating these teams, it fits the characteristics of a team that's considered the third best team in the league. Now, it's only week 5, but again, we've seen this team go down a couple players, key players. I mean, CJ was going to be a starter for you.
Yep.
Emmanuel Mosley, again, wasn't there the whole season, but he was going to be a starter for you too. And they were still able to play. That's why when you heard the presser, or not the presser, but the post-game speech from Dan Campbell, we played at the beginning of the show. By the way, if you didn't hear that, I recommend rewinding it. It's phenomenal. It got me pumped up. But he literally, I think, is like verbatim. I'm not going to say verbatim, but doesn't matter who's on our side, doesn't matter who's on their side. As long as when you smell competition, you show up.
Yeah.
And we did.
And they did.
And not only that, too, this team loves each other. You saw that with the situation with, obviously, Josh Reynolds showing love to Craig Reynolds, but also Dave Montgomery showing love to Craig Reynolds, who could have easily just padded his stats and got himself another touchdown.
Yeah. It's impressive, man. It's impressive to watch. They're bought in. You can tell they're bought in. It starts at the top with Sheila Ford-Hamp to Brad Holmes to Dan Campbell, and then it trickles down to these guys, and they're playing like they are contenders. They believe they are contenders, and so do I. I think they're contenders. I think they have a legitimate chance to make a run in the NFC, and I'm excited to see what they can do throughout the rest of the season. Obviously, health will play a factor in that. They've already lost 2 big pieces for the season on defense, but you are getting healthier. Despite the Emmanuel Mosley injury, you have Kirby Joseph came back and played in this game. You have Josh Pascal looking like he's getting ready to come back. So just stay healthy, take care of business, and make sure some things happen. I'm excited to see what they can do.
Chris?
I mean, look, it's been great, man. It's been a great 24 hours. Like it really has. When you look back at, I was watching this game with my dad, and my dad is a guy who grew up a Lions fan, then kind of faded out, became more of a Pistons and Tigers fan as those were and NHL Red Wings fan as they were the teams that are winning. And now me and him get to sit there and watch this Lions team win is incredible. And the defense, like, that's where I want to go with this conversation of being contenders. Is now we've talked about it all season, the money that they have, the flexibility they have to go out and make that swing and get a player, and now where do you want it to be? And the receiving core looks very good. It looks like Ben Johnson is able to, on paper, it might not be the most talented, but Ben Johnson has shown that he can clearly make it work against any defense, any week, and kill you by just any variation. And then the defensive line has looked a hell of a lot better since that Seattle game. Mm-hmm. So now my kind of thought is almost, do you go and, again, I don't even feel confident about this because Jerry Jacobs, who I know we're going to talk about, has looked very good.
Yeah.
But do you go out and get another corner to kind of replace what happened to Mosley? Like, where are you at with this, these assets? Because if this team clearly is a contender, then I think in the next couple weeks they should be making a trade. If they are this team, if they lose less than 2 games in the next 3 weeks, they should be buying at the deadline. And they should be making a move. They should be adding talent and going for this shot at the championship.
That is another characteristic of a contender for
good.
Sure. Is like adding that one more piece.
Yeah.
Just as you saw the 49ers do. And another characteristic, as you saw the 49ers do. Remember when Hufanga wasn't even a starter?
Yeah.
He was like just some 5th round pick, and then I think it was who was it initially got hurt for them last year?
Jimmy Ward.
And oh no, we lost Jimmy Ward, and Hufanga comes in. He's like an all-pro player.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those things about Tracy and or Iffy, but they filled in seamlessly. Mm-hmm. This is still a top-ranked defense amongst the league.